teams are making the playoffs and who's staying home. It's Who's In, Who's Out on 97.3 ESPN FM, South Jersey's football station.
John, this is tough. I mean, the AFC wildcards are a disaster right now. A major injury today. I don't know where to go there, but I do know this. The Patriots and Bengals haven't moved in the top two spots for me.
No, as well they shouldn't. Although, I will say the Patriots have so many injuries on their offensive line. It's amazing. They just tied the NFL record for consecutive quarters scored in. They're playing at such a high level. Tom Brady is, I'm going to say it now, he has surpassed Joe Montana in my mind as the best quarterback of all time. To do what he's doing with that offensive line, unbelievable. And the Bengals, I've said it for weeks and weeks and weeks, that's the best team in the NFL right now.
Well, that's a bold statement.
On my Twitter top 10 that's released every Tuesday, Cincinnati Bengals have been there for 3 weeks in a row. We just talked Andy Dalton, name A.J. Green, Tyler Eifert. People don't know how good Tyler Eifert is. He's just a notch below Rob Gronkowski, and he's the kind of player you wish Zach Ertz would be.
All right, let's take a look at the South, where a major injury today, John. Andrew Luck could miss up to 6 weeks with a lacerated kidney. Does that change for you? I went Houston last week. I'm sticking with the Texans now. That injury might be too much for that team who just got a win. They just got a good feeling around them. But I'm going to go Houston
now,
in the South.
I'm sticking with Indianapolis to this point because they have a very good backup quarterback. I'm concerned with that time frame. If it's 2 weeks, not a big issue at all. Matt Hasselbeck will play and will keep that team going in the right direction. If it's 6 weeks, that's tough for a 40-year-old guy. So I think the time frame is key. But until the Colts lose in that division, I'm not going away from it.
Hey, I like what Houston closes up with. Chance to win with the Colts, Titans, and Jaguars. That sounds like freebies for me.
But the Colts got the big win over Denver, so obviously – they're going in the right direction at least. They were 3-0 in the division, 0-5 out. Finally got a win outside the division. They're in good shape, even without Luck.
That's a mess division, by the way. Jacksonville and Tennessee are both just a game and a half behind the leaders in the South. In the West, Denver still reigns. They have a large lead over Oakland. But the wild cards, John, this is a mess. What are you going wild cards?
I'm going the Jets. They're back in it, but both are injury. Ryan Fitzpatrick, if he undergoes surgery, we'll see how that works out. But I think the Jets have a very good team. And Pittsburgh, Ben's talking like he might play this week. I don't think he will. But remember, they're their bye week after playing Cleveland at home. So if it's truly a 2-week injury, Ben will be back. They'll beat the Browns. Everything will be fine in Pittsburgh.
I've got Pittsburgh. Ben being out kind of clouds out a little bit, but if he comes back, I think Landry Jones has done a decent enough job, something that the Cowboys haven't been able to do. They've won games with a backup quarterback. The Jets quarterback situation, I don't like. I don't feel comfortable, so I go in Derek Carr over Fitzpatrick. I'm going to stick Oakland into the playoffs for the second week in a row, Oakland and Pittsburgh. I think the Jets, their quarterback issues there are too much for them.
Remember, I had Oakland in last week also. I took them out. Remember, Pittsburgh beat Oakland. So tie-breaking scenario, Steelers are looking good against the Raiders.
We got some news in the NFC. Let's start from the bottom up. I'm going Arizona in the West. They have a pretty nice lead over St. Louis, a 2-gamer there over St. Louis and Seattle. You believe Arizona might be the best team in football?
No, best team in the NFC. I think Cincinnati's the best team in football. But I think talent-wise, 1 through 53, I think Arizona is the best team in the NFC. And this is a key week for Seattle because Arizona's coming there. This is it. If the Seahawks want to be relevant in the playoff picture and that division, they got to win this one.
Arizona for both of us, Carolina in the South. I'll ask you, John, are we buying Carolina? I've bought them all year. Are you buying them now? Are they the best team? Some people think might be the best team in the league.
Yeah, I don't think they are. Just don't have enough weapons on the offensive side of the ball. But And I'm a little concerned that they let Green Bay come all the way back in that big lead with the fourth quarter comeback. But still, they're clearly one of the 2 or 3 best teams in the NFC. Certainly going to win that division.
You know, a lot of people not sold on Newton as the MVP, that the numbers aren't there. I think I heard Rich say during the warm-up today his completion percentage is too low. There ain't 8-0 without Cam Newton.
No, stat people don't get it. They'll never get it. Nobody puts more on the shoulders of the quarterback than the Carolina Panthers. Cam Newton does more than any other quarterback and should be in the MVP conversation.
I think a lot of reason why his completion percentage is low is he don't have very good targets. I mean, Ted Ginn's dropping wide open passes. They don't have a lot of great. But to be fair, he has some inaccuracy issues. He masks them though with his legs a lot of times. I love what Newton's done this year. In the North, here we go. 6-2, Minnesota. 6-2, Green Bay. It was a foregone conclusion. This was Green Bay's division. How about now?
I still think it's Green Bay's division. I don't like the Vikings offense all that much. A lot of it has to do with Norv Turner. Never been a fan. Just think they play it too close to the vest. That defense, though, is getting on the verge of being great. And if Eric Kendricks can come back healthy, that's Michael's brother. He missed this week's game. Anthony Barr, we talked about. Linval Joseph. Sharif Floyd is coming back from an injury. Everson Griffin. Harrison's. The Vikings are loaded defensively, but they don't have Aaron Rodgers. So I still give it to Green Bay.
Yeah, I'm going Minnesota because of what you just said. I like their defense. I wasn't sold on Minnesota. I flipped over on them a little bit. I actually liked them in the preseason. Everyone was jumping on the Miami wagon. I liked Minnesota, and one of the reasons is their defense is very good. They have Peterson, the run game, Bridgewater, and obviously late in the season they're going to play the Bears, the Giants. They got a tough schedule with the Packers to close it. They play at Arizona, Seattle, so they're going to have to win some big-time games there. But if they do that, I think they'll prove. But the problem I have with Green Bay right now is I'm wondering if Aaron Rodgers, the comment he made about he had some fear, he lost some confidence. I mean, they don't have great weapons. They're banged up. Their defense isn't all that. That's the one problem I've always had with Green Bay the last couple of years.
It is a big issue, and we talked about it dating back to the preseason. I think that Jordy Nelson injury was the biggest of all the preseason injuries because they don't have talent on the outside. People act like James Jones is something. No. They act like Randall Cobb is a superstar. No. Aaron Rodgers elevates them, something we've talked about with the St. Louis Rams and Sam Bradford all the time. He didn't elevate talent. Aaron Rodgers does.
I agree. I mean, the wide receiver situation is starting to be a little tough on them. In the East, we both, I think, went Philly last week.
Yeah, and I'm sticking with them. I don't like the New York Giants. Don't trust the New York Giants. JPP was back. They gave him a lift. Pass rush still wasn't that good against Tampa Bay, though. If you looked at the game, Eagles are a better football team, and they'll win a bad division.
All right, let's go to the wild cards. I think this is I mean, it's getting tougher. It looked like it was pretty clear the last week with Minnesota and Atlanta kind of distancing themselves, but we're right back in a similar situation now. I'm going Green Bay as one wild card, John, and I'm going to stick with Atlanta, although I'm not feeling great about Atlanta.
Yeah, I'm not feeling great about them, but I'm sticking with them. I knocked them down to the 6th slot, though. I have the Vikings in the 5th slot, and we just differ on who's going to win that division, the NFC North. But I think both the Packers and Vikings are playoff teams. To me, the real key is Seattle. They need this game. If they get this game this week, they're back in the hunt. But right now, I can't put them in there.
You've got New York at 5-4 and Philadelphia at 4-4. The Bears won last night to get them to 3-5. The Saints are 4-5. The Bucks are 3-5. The Rams are 4-4. The Seahawks are 4-4. A bunch of teams have 3 wins. It's going to be a wild finish for those wild card spots.
Horrible loss for the Saints this week, too. They would have been back in the conversation, but to lose to the Titans in New Orleans, that defense, wow.